Identity authorized.
You may have noticed that was indeed a new intro, thanks to my podcast friends for sending me that. That's the intro that they use on all of their podcasts. If you've forgotten, it's Cloud City Cast, Animation Station Podcast. So if you have not listened to those, they're on iTunes or Stitcher or whatever, go find them. Anyway, thanks for sending me those. I asked if I could use it for mine, even though it's not technically a podcast, but it sort of is. It's a video podcast. Anyway, so, enough rambling. This is the spoiler-filled review of Despicable Me 3, which I just saw. And yes, we're getting 2 reviews, actually, because after I upload this, I'm going to be filming my spoiler-filled review for Spider-Man Homecoming, which I saw over the weekend. But I'm doing it this way because that way it's a little bit more in order of when they came out. And this is fresher in my mind because I just got back from seeing it, so I just want to talk about it now. Alright, so, Despicable Me 3. I did not expect this to be as good as it was, to be honest. I have learned... See, there's a glare on the screen. Okay. It just makes it worse. Okay, I have learned that usually with animated film franchises, the third entry is always the weakest. It was that way with Kung Fu Panda 3. It was that way with Shrek. Yeah, like at that point they're just like, well, they're gonna go see it anyway. Let's just throw something together lazily and have them, have the kids shut up for 90 minutes. That was not the case with this one. I actually thought there was a lot of effort put into it. It was totally fun. It's not my favorite in the franchise. There's still a lot of stuff that could have been done better, but I digress. Okay, so I do have to say, they learned from the second movie that we do like the Minions, but we like them in small increments that are few and far between, because my complaint with the second movie was that there were too many scenes with the Minions to the point where they overshadowed the story, but I did not feel that way. Like, this time they're barely in it. They're in it for maybe 15 minutes of the whole thing, and it's not even all at once. So that's good that they learned that. I think the best part of the movie by far was the villain, Balthazar Bratt. He was by far the best thing, but I feel they could have done a lot more with it than they did, because he's a child star that, his show got canceled after he hit puberty and it wasn't a child star anymore, but he's still mentally stuck in the 80s, and he became, insane, believing that he was the character that he played, right? The evil villain kid genius that he played. And, he's got all this 80s things, like there's a giant Rubik's Cube on the top of his house, he's got, like, the little synthesizer guitar thing, his alarm clock is 80s music. There's little 80s Easter eggs in there, and I feel they could have done more with it than they did, because it was a hilarious premise, and it felt a little, not wasted, but not as used as it could have been, if that makes sense. They could have done a lot more with it than they did. Another thing, what was the other thing? So, yeah, that was, like, my one main complaint, is that they could have delved a little bit deeper with the villain. The other thing is, it was still good, though. I enjoyed it. I felt like the little subplot with Agnes finding the unicorn, that was a little wasted. Like, or not wasted, I'm sorry, a little bit unnecessary. It just kind of clogged up the screen time. It was like, we get it, you like unicorns. Meh. I don't know, that felt kind of silly to me. And at the end where it was like, it's a goat with one horn, like, I don't know. That one was just, like, random. Yeah, that could have easily been, like, taken out, but the thing is with the Minions, people either love them or they hate them. I like them. I'm in the I like them camp. I thought the part where they were in the prison, and, they take over the prison because there's strength in numbers, there's, like, millions of them. There's, there's, just a few of the prison guards, and they were able to take out the big tough bullies at the jail yard because there's straight the numbers are afraid of them because there's more of them. That was really funny. I liked that. The Minions were, even though that scene only lasted maybe, like, 2 or 3 minutes of the whole movie, which is good. Like, it did what it needed to do. Also, Dr. Daurio not coming back for the movie because he froze himself in carbonite like Han Solo, that was kind of funny, but I want to know why he wasn't in this movie. Was it because Russell Brand didn't want to come back? Did they not have a part for him in the story? I don't know. But that gag was kind of funny. Yeah, it was a good movie. I still enjoyed it. That was fine. Like I said, the main thing is I really wish they had fleshed out the 80s stuff more. There's lots of 80s references they could have done with this. There's a lot more they could have done. But, I mean, what they did with it was still good. I still enjoyed it. Just I feel like could have done more with it than they did. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a solid B. It's a solid 8 out of 10. Which is more than I can say for a lot of animated trilogies, you know, the third entry, where it's like, we don't care anymore, as I said at the beginning. No, they cared, and they still did a good job with it. Yeah, I'm fine with it. I enjoyed it.